Today we are going to break down UFC Fight Night Roman Dolidze versus Nasruddin Imavov. I'm just going to apologize in advance. I am dealing with pneumonia. I can't get off the couch. Just for this week, we don't have proper graphics. We're going to use those garbage Tapology graphics. As soon as I'm better next week, we'll have better graphics. But let's break down this card. Please like, please subscribe. Ready to rock?
Let's go.
Let's do it. First fight of the night. We got a heavyweight slobber knocker. Thomas Peterson versus Jamal Pogues. I think the whole world's on Thomas Peterson. They think he is going to shoot takedowns, take Pogues down, and beat him on the ground. It's nice to see that he's 8-1 with all finishes, but he's not good. I'm probably one of the few people that almost wants to play Jamal Pogues. Now, Jamal Pogues is not good either, but you know what? He did go the distance with that McParkin or whatever his name was. He looked okay. Yes, he's slow. Yes, he doesn't have big power, but if he can stuff these takedowns, he will be the better striker. I just don't know if he can stuff the takedowns. Sloppy heavyweight fight. Wouldn't be going big on it. What do you think?
Yeah. So Peterson likes to use his wrestling a lot, take guys down and beat them up on the ground. But Pogues like to use his wrestling in his fights that he won. He used his wrestling. So I think the guy that can impose their ground game is going to win this fight. At minus 175, it's tough for me to be on Peterson like the world is, and yeah, it's either a pass or go with the dog for me. So I'm gonna go Pogues by decision probably because he's not a power puncher.
That's funny. I like that pick too. All right, moving on. We have got Markyle Mederos versus Landon Quinones. It's a 155-pound bout. Mederos is coming in as a highly touted prospect. He's pretty well-rounded, strong guy, good striker, good grappler. It's hard to classify him as one thing. He does it all. And Quinones, not a terrible fighter. Obviously, I believe he got knocked out by Nasrat last fight, but he wasn't like a fish out of water. He did kind of belong. He made it a fight, and he went out on his shield, which, hey, props to him for that. This fight's going to tell everything we need to know about Mederos. The whole world's on him, so I'll pick him as well. But it wouldn't be shocking if he didn't do it. So not a lot of confidence for me. What do you think?
So he won that Dana White contender series fight by knee. Quinones did go toe to toe actually with Hackcross. I just looked it up while you were talking, and it was a unanimous decision where
Okay, shit.
Hackcross I think he outstruck him 171 to 148. So he did stand toe to toe with a decent competition in the UFC there. Hackcross isn't a joke. He's also not the best. But for a guy coming in on his first fight, Hackcross is a pretty good measuring stick. Haven't seen much of Medeiros, and to be favored at 170, he must be a highly touted prospect. He looks good on tape, but that's regional scene tape. Dana White Contender Series looks good. But you know, Quinones did go toe to toe again. I think it's a pass or go on the dog with Quinones. I don't know about the decision though, because I don't know if Medeiros, if like some of these young fighters, if they get past that first round, they got nothing left, right? And we really haven't seen too much of this guy later on in fights. So we at least we know Quinones can go toe to toe with Hackbrass the whole way, right? So there's some knowns.
Cool. I like it. All right, moving on. 125-pound weight division. We have Julija Stoliarenko versus Luana Carolina. Might as well call this armbar versus lanky striker. Um, I I always make fun of Luana Carolina. Like I can't stand to watch her. She has no finishing ability. She just kind of pitter patters you to death. But her takedown defense isn't terrible. And Julija's I'm gonna go with Julija. Obviously, she looked great against Molly McCann. Doesn't tell you a whole lot, but it wouldn't be shocking if Luana could keep it on the feet and peppered her with boring point fighting strikes. But I will go with Julija. That's my pick. I can't stand Luana. What do you think?
I like Stoliarenko, but I like her better when she's an underdog. When she's a favorite, it's kind of so striking is kind of wonky, just like Luana's though. Luana does, like you said, have a pretty good takedown defense, but like we're talking 76% overall. But if you look deeper at the numbers, she's been taken down in her last four fights by her opponent. She won the fight against Botello, but got taken down. Won against Lupi. She was much bigger in that fight, but got taken down. Got taken down against Molly McCann. Got taken down against Joanne Wood. Got taken down. Even in that fight she won by unanimous decision last time against Petrovic, stopping the prospect train there. She got taken down twice. So I don't see how she does it. For a girl that Stoliarenko showed that she went for that takedown pretty hardcore on Molly, really quick the last time, right? So she did strike with her for a minute or two, and then boom, went for the takedown. So I'm going Stoliarenko because I think she can employ a ground game, and I believe Carolina got tapped up by Luana Jojua or something like that. It was Ariane Lipsky. She beat her by she lost by knee bar. So she does. This is gonna go to the ground, and she's gonna lose. You,
All right, I like it. I agree. Moving on, we got 145-pound weight class. We got Blake Bilder 8-1-1 versus Zhang Young Lee 10-1. I almost always fade Blake Bilder. I don't know why the UFC seems to like him, and I think they're giving him a matchup where he has a chance here. If he can stuff the takedowns, I think he can kind of pitter patter his way to a decision here. I like all the overs, and I don't like either fighter. I wouldn't put your money on it. What do you think?
yeah, but Zhang Yang Lee is like he's like touted as this big grappler, but in his last fight in the fight night, Lewis versus Spivak, he got taken out 5 times by Iza, and I thought he lost that fight, to be quite honest with you. He's a good striker, but if you want to stand toe to toe with Big Builder, like that's what he wants, right? Like, so like at plus 125, I hate it, but I think I'm faking going towards the Builder side on this one, just because I think what you said he could do, stop whatever like crappy takedowns that this guy throws down, and like he might even be able to employ some wrestling himself, to be quite honest with you. We know Blake actually goes for it. So yeah, I'm gonna go underdog here again.
Yep. All right, moving on. Welterweight division. We got 11-4 Themba Gorimbo versus 5-1 Pete Rodriguez. I didn't even realize Pete Rodriguez was still in the UFC. He's basically a power punching brawler. He does hit hard. He can knock you out, but that's all he has going for him. He doesn't really have anything else. Themba Gorimbo, uh, he's boring, but he's the ultimate grinder. He's strong, athletic, and he grinds. He will mix in takedowns. He will clinch. I think he's just gonna wear Pete Rodriguez out, and like I don't see him getting knocked out. I don't see him getting laid out. I see him taking over the fight, possibly finishing it later. But even if he doesn't finish it, he'll just grind it out in his typical kind of grinding fashion. What do you think?
I think Garimbo is the better fighter here. I think he's got the more technical striking. I also think he's got the 1,000,000,000. I don't know what number you can put out better ground game in this fight. To be honest with you, like not even close on the ground here. But this guy has a puncher's chance, right? And Garimbo, we have seen stanky legged a bit in a few fights, so he's come back and he's shown resiliency. But Pete Rodriguez has power going for him. Now, like we have to wait till weigh-ins because this guy overweight, like Priscilla Cachoeira style, like that much overweight. So like you never know if this fight even stays on the card. But yeah, I lean heavily to Garimbo, but I guess he can get knocked out.
All right. Moving on, we've got the 125-pound division. We got Charles Johnson 13-6 versus Azat Maksum 17-0. Azat is very highly touted. He's supposed to be a huge prospect. I wasn't very impressed with him last fight, and Charles Johnson just has a way of making every fight close. So you can almost guarantee it that this fight's going to go the distance. Bet some kind of decision, split decision, over. I think all those are live. I will lean Azat, but I think it's a close fight. I think it's going the distance. I think it's a close fight. I wouldn't go crazy. I don't love him. What do you think?
I actually love Asma here because I do because like people don't give Tyson Nam enough credit for how good of an actual fighter that he act. Yo, this guy's takedown defense is great, and yeah, it might have made Azat look really bad in his first fight, but just remember that he was taking Tyson Nam in his first fight. You got to be careful for that right hand from Tyson Nam. Like he can put you out, like he will put you out, and if you don't fight semi-smart, you're gonna be laying on the canvas because that's what Tyson Nam does. So he was a really tough fight. Now, Charles Johnson, he's been given more than enough chances in the UFC, and what's the common denominator? He gets taken down a lot. He does get up, he has good scrambles, but then he gets taken down again. And yeah, like he outstruck Rafael Esteban 72-18 in his last fight, but got taken down 3 times and was controlled quite a bit on the mat. He outstruck the guy by that much, still got controlled, and still lost the fight. I'm gonna chalk up Azat's first fight. People are gonna be on Charles Johnson because Azat had a bad first fight, but you gotta chalk it up to like UFC jitters. Tyson Nam being a lot better than anything he's faced on the regional scene. And yeah, at minus 138, this might be the gift of a century because if he finishes Jordan Johnson, or like beats him convincingly, like you're not going to see that next time when he fights. Those odds.
I think Charles Johnson is notoriously durable. Like he's more durable than Nam or anyone
Yeah,
else.
but I think Azat's actually pretty good, and he might not have shown everything last fight. I'm not saying this is a finish. I'm saying the minus 188 line on him is a lot fair. Could be a lot worse because Charles Johnson notoriously gets taken down, and we know this guy's going to use wrestling. He shot a shitload times on Tyson Nam. It's just that Tyson Nam's really good at keeping the fight standing, right? So still got taken down twice. So, you know,
Yep.
that's what I'm looking at that way.
All right, I like it. Moving on, 115-pound division, we got Molly McCann, 13-6, and she is taking on Diana Belbita, 15-8. Belbita is clearly the volume striker, pitter patter. No, not really any power, but you know what? She actually does have tremendous heart and durability, and she will push a pace. Now, Molly McCann should be able to bully her just with brute strength. I think her best path here, believe it or not, I know she's a bad grappler, but I feel like her taking her down and pounding her on the ground might be her best path here. Because I think if she stands and trades with Belbita, even though she's the stronger puncher, I think like she might just fade. Like Belbita does go for the full 3 rounds, and if it drags on, I could see her overwhelming McCann late. So I think Molly should shoot takedowns and beat her on the ground. That's a clear path. I don't like Molly at these odds. I think it's preposterous that she's that big of a favorite. I get it. Belbita's not good at all. I can see a world where she overwhelms Molly with cardio, just because I don't even think Molly's heart's really in it anymore. What do you think?
This is the rematch that we didn't want to see. They fought back in the day. It was actually Belbita's first fight in the UFC. She lost a unanimous decision. I just got outstruck a little bit, 113, 298, and got taken down 5 times. What year was that? I don't even remember.
I didn't even know they fought.
They did fight October 18th, 2019. So we are 5 years in the future here. Has their games changed? I think their games have changed a little bit. Um, Molly wrestling seems to have gotten actually worse. And did she look good in that? Did she look good in that fight, or was Belbita just green and didn't like learn to wrestle? If you watch her last couple fights, Belbita, one's a win, one's a loss. Um, she's wrestled a bit. She wrestled against Karolina Kovacevic in her last fight, took her down twice. Carolina's a much better fighter, takedown wise than our friend Molly McCann. When you counter wrestle Molly, it's when that's where Molly gets into trouble on the ground. She gets into trouble when she's on the bottom. If Belbita's able to switch the wrestling up on Molly, I think we have a shot here about Belbita because at minus 250 odds, I really can't bet Molly McCann. I really can't. I can bet this fight to probably go the distance, or Belbita, another underdog. This fight card's just whack full of underdogs that I like at least. I would go Belbita here. I'm not as strong as I was on the Stoliarenko side the last time, but if Belbita comes, I know she's notorious for shitty IQ, but if she comes in with a proper game plan with like taking takedowns into effect, there's a shot here because Molly's not that great.
Yeah, at these odds, it's dogger path.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. We appreciate it. And once again, I do apologize about the graphics. They'll be back to normal next week. I'm dealing with pneumonia. We'll get back to it. First fight of the main card, we got Gilbert Urbina, 7-2 versus Charles Radtke, 8-3. Urbina, absolutely massive, very lanky guy, pretty good striker. And Charles, or Charlie Radtke, whatever you want to call him, he likes to shoot takedowns. He likes to grapple. I could see him getting those takedowns. Urbina's takedown defense is nothing special. He's been picked up and scooped and slammed multiple times before. but he's so big. Like I think he should be able to put his hands on Charles and beat him up on the feet. Tough fight to predict. I won't be playing it. I know I said that a lot this card. Uh, Give me Urbina to get it done. And if you haven't seen Charles Radtke's last fight, go watch it. I thought he got cut after his post-fight speech. It was unbelievable. So go back and watch that. I can't believe he's still in the UFC. No confidence here. I'll pick Urbina. What do you think?
This guy went to decision with Blood Diamond. That's pretty bad, man. He was minus 350, minus 400 favorite in that fight. Like, look, that fight was in limbo. Blood Diamond put on a decent performance, to be quite honest with you. So Urbina lost that fight to Brian Battle, but he went toe to toe with him in his first fight in the UFC. And then in the second fight, who did he lose to? Or he won against Orion Koski. So, he's fought two decent guys in the UFC. Orion just known to gas out. I mean, I think he's got the better striking, and unless he's like taken down and like controlled on the ground, then I think he takes this quite easily. Probably finishes him in the second round. He's the better striker, and I think he has a little ground game too. So Charlie Radtke didn't show me anything special in that Blood Diamond fight. He should have been able to take that guy down, tap him out in 2 seconds. Jeremiah Wells did it. Everybody else did it. So yeah.
Sure. All right, moving on. 185-pound division. We got Aliaskab Khizriev versus Makhmud Muradov. Those are two names that are fun to say. Jesus. You got Khizriev, who's the grappler. Muradov, not a bad grappler himself, but I thought his last fight was absolutely pathetic against Bam Bam. Was that his last fight, Bam Bam Barberina?
Barberina, that was pathetic. Yeah, it was pathetic.
It was absolutely pathetic. So I don't know why these odds are close. I think Khizriev rolls here personally, and I thought Muradov's fight was absolutely pathetic. I don't want to watch this guy fight. I hope he loses and gets cut. I think he loses regardless. He's going to get out grappled here. What do you think?
He has a propensity to get out grappled. Jeremy Mearshart out grappled in a fight. Then he fought Kyberallo. He was okay in that fight, but he does tend to slow down later on in fights, right? Khizriev won't stop. He's one of those guys. He's just going to come after him. And once he gets him on the ground, he's going to keep him on the ground. Muradov, and the more that you wrestle with Muradov is the more that you suck that gas tank down. Khizriev hasn't beaten anyone of note in the UFC. Dennis Tulin's no big deal, and Henry Shigemoto in this first fight is no big deal. He subbed them both on the ground. I don't see why. I mean, if Muradov doesn't get subbed in the first round, I think he gets subbed in the third round. The gas tanks is just not there. We both watched that last fight where he killed Barberina, 13 takedown. Couldn't finish him. Is punching him like he was a fly on the wall. It was just
and
like,
Barberina's terrible on the ground.
oh my God. A couple hard punches and he would have had that fight finished, right? Racking up the DraftKings points, but that's about it. And that's all he did was rack up points and points and points. Like, he needed to finish that fight. He was coming off of 2 losses. He needed to show them that, I'm back. The gas tank looks awful. Awful, 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 awful. I'm not saying Khizriev has a better gas tank, but I think he has better wrestling. And I also think he has a better ground game. And I think that's where this fight is won.
I agree 100%. Moving on, we got a fun women's fight. We got Viviane Araujo coming in 12-5 versus Natalia Silva 16-5-1. I'm one of the few people who thinks Viviane's a decent fighter. Like, everybody seems to counter out all the time. Unfortunately, she's fighting Natalia Silva, who is a hell of a striker, has great takedown defense. I think Natalia Silva's going to absolutely light her up. I want to see Silva take a bigger step up in competition, but Araujo is good. Honestly, I don't think she's terrible. She's a tough girl who comes forward. Wrestling's okay, and her boxing's decent. Unfortunately, like I said, I think Natalia Silva's going to light her up. What do you think?
I think both of them have pretty good takedown defense. Araujo at about 80%, and Silva at 92. So this is probably going to play out on the feet. Araujo's got decent striking, but I think Silva's younger, faster. She's got more variety. She's a little bit more technical, and she's got better cardio because she doesn't slow down later on and carries her power. She has a third round knockout in the UFC as well. So I don't like the minus 350 odds, but I think they're warranted here. I think she's just a younger, faster, better version of Viviane, just with less man muscles, if you know what I mean. Silva looks more like a woman, and Viviane looks more like a dude. So She's got big old shoulders. To carry around that muscle mass, and no joke this time, to carry around that muscle mass, you slow down. Silva's the more leaner, maybe not as cut fighter here, but I feel like the speed and the volume is where the big advantages come out on the feet here. So I'm gonna pick Natalia Silva. I do actually think it's Natalia Silva by decision because I think Vivian will actually hold the duration of this fight. So we'll
All right. Moving on to the featured fight, we've got Randy Brown, 17-5, versus Muslim Salikhov, 19-4 in the welterweight division. Muslim Salikhov is old, and he and he gasses every single fight. I actually think he's the more skilled fighter, but he just has zero gas tank. His chin's starting to go. I think for him to win, he has to knock out Randy Brown in the first round. After that, he's going to fade, and I think Randy Brown puts him away. I think the play here is that whatever side you're on, and it's probably going to be Randy Brown, I think you play by finish to get the better value because Muslim has no gas tank. I just can't see him going 3 rounds personally. But I'm looking forward to seeing some spinning attacks because he likes to do that shit. And he's going to be dangerous in the first round. He's going to be live in the first round, and then Randy Brown takes over. What do you think?
I think like Muslim is live in the first round. I think that first round is going to be dicey. He's a pretty good wrestler. He's a little slow on his striking, more hooks and everything than straights and jabs. But like he has a gas tank in that first round, and he's won a ton of first rounds in fights that he's lost. I think Randy Brown wins this fight, but Randy scares me because sometimes the volume is kind of shady, right? And he plays with his food, and he's a lot more skilled than some of his wins show. So I don't know. I can't see actually the finish here. I think Randy doesn't throw enough. He doesn't have enough killer instinct. I think he picks him apart from the outside, and this gets prolonged. And it's more like a walk, and Muslim's more like a walking punching bag in the third round rather than like a fighter. So he is good. He showed heart. He showed heart against I forgot what his name.
Dalby.
Dalby. He showed heart against Dalby because I thought he was gonna get finished, right? And Dalby had him like, But when's the last time you saw Randy go at her like that hard? Like he doesn't put that on guys, and that's the problem with Randy, right? He hangs back. Jab straight. The striking is great. Randy Brown's striking is amazing, but I'd like him to Vitor Belfort some guys once in a while at the end there. When Vitor thinks he got too hurt and he just goes for it. Randy doesn't do that. So I'm gonna say Randy by decision.
I like the Vitor reference.
That's what Vitor did, man.
Vitor, man. That guy's the roided Vitor is one of the most dangerous guys in the world.
Dude, he had the rage, man. When someone hurt, he would just boom, go at it, right?
All right, that brings us to the co-main event in the lightweight division. We got Hanato Moicano, 17-5-1, versus the hard-hitting giant Judd Drew Dober, 27-12. This fight scares me. I love Drew Dober, just like everybody else. I love Drew Dober. I think Hanato's a better fighter everywhere here, but he's also susceptible to getting knocked out, and that's what Drew Dober does, right? So if Drew Dober doesn't get chinned himself early, he's going to end up finding Hanato's chin and knocking him out. I think there's just no chance that this fight doesn't end in a finish, and I think it'll be quick, personally. That's just Dober's pace. So I think we're looking at an early knockout. I like Hanato. I like Dober. I like them both. May the best man win. I think Dober will find the chin, maybe. What do you think?
If Hanato can get him down, he's going to sub him. If Dober can get his chin, he's going to chin him because Hanato has been chinned or at least been hurt 1,000 times in his fight. So I don't know. Dober's got a 50% takedown. He's shown that he can be taken down. Hanato's also shown some poor IQ and not taking down guys right away as well. So I'm stuck. If I'm going to play this 2 ways, I'm going to play Hanato submission. I'm going to play Drew Dober knockout. Those are the 2 only possibilities that I can see happening. There's no decision happening here.
Drew Dober's actually fairly hard to sub, to be honest, man. Like he's been on his back a lot against Islam, other guys. Like he's decent at getting his way back up or whatever. And I don't think Moicano is a great wrestler. So I actually, I agree. On paper, it makes sense that Moicano has the grappling edge, jiu-jitsu wise, but I don't think he has the wrestling. So I actually think that one of them is getting chinned, and I think Drew Dober's also susceptible to the knockout as well. So for me, it's a knockout, but I agree 100%. Moicano's got the jiu-jitsu edge, and
Well,
I think there's no way this goes the distance.
well, I think Dober's the last 4 to 5 times he's been beat. It's sorry, the last like 4 to 6 times he's been beat by submission, right? But it
Oh,
was
really?
Islam, Dariush, OAM, sorry, Olivier Aubin Mercier, and Efren Escudero. Those are the 4 guys. So we're talking about guys with pretty good jiu-jitsu games. So Moicano's right up there. He's only been chinned by Frivola and he lost the decision to Riddell. So he is susceptible. I think he's susceptible to the sub, but like you said it, Moicano's wrestling is not anywhere like Dariush's wrestling, is not anywhere like Makhachev's wrestling. So in order to use that jiu-jitsu, sometimes you gotta get the fight to the ground. I'm stuck here. I don't know. If Moicano wins, it's gonna be by sub. He's not outstriking Dober. Let me tell you that right now. He's not gonna outstrike. If he thinks he's gonna stand up and outstrike Drew Dober, he's not.
And his chin's not going to hold up for 3 rounds.
Oh,
So
he's not. He's not going to do it. I think Dober's chin will hold up a lot more against the Moicano striking than Moicano's chin will hold up against the Dober striking. Let's put it that way, right? So,
yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's a fun fight, and I think we're getting a finish for sure.
oh yeah, man.
All right, and that brings us to our main event. I actually like this fight. I know some people are going to go, "What the hell kind of main event is it?" I like this fight. We got 185-pound division middleweights Roman Dolidze 12-2 versus 12-4 Nasruddin Imavov. Roman Dolidze probably has the most dangerous ground game. Definitely, I think in that division. Like I put his ground game higher than Muniz. I know a lot of people love him and the Paul Craigs and all that shit. I put Roman Dolidze higher than all those guys. That submission of Jack Hermanson and the way he almost snapped like Phil Haas legs. Like this guy is nasty on the ground. He is a world champion grappler, submission artist, but he doesn't like to shoot a ton of takedowns. He also likes to just throw bombs, which makes for an interesting, fun fight. Big fan of Roman Dolidze. Unfortunately, I'm also a big fan of Nasruddin Imavov. Imavov is a very lanky Muay Thai striker, not a ton of power. Early in his career, he was held against the cage by Phil Haas. He did look like he could be out grappled, but lately his grappling has looked a lot better. He actually took down Chris Curtis last fight, and Chris Curtis has notoriously good takedown defense, and he took down Curtis, I think, 2 or 3 times. Man. Yeah. So I think Imavov is getting better with the grappling. I don't know if Roman Dolidze is going to shoot takedowns. So that leaves us with a mainly striking contest. I think this is going to play out on the feet. And I still give Dolidze a chance just because he's such a fucking beast. But I got to say Imavov's the more technical striker, the better volume. And I just think he's coming into his own. And it's a shame to say it because, like I said, I really like Dolidze. And I think Dolidze got robbed he got robbed against Marvin Vittori. I thought he got robbed that fight. So big fan of both guys. I think Imavov will avoid the submission and be too technical on the feet. Sorry for my ramble there. What do you think?
No, your ramble was right. I believe in Imavov here too because Dolidze, I feel like the fight IQ is the problem, right? Like you said, such a good grappler, knows how to move around, can put people in a bad positions, but never does it. Never does it. How many takedowns did he land on Marvin Vittori? 0. How many did he land on Jack Hermanson? 0. He knows how to just once he gets onto Hermanson landed 2, and then he puts himself into a bad position because Dolidze's grappling is so good. You don't want to go to the ground with him. Imavov is not going to try to take down Roman Dolidze. He's not going to. He's going to want to stand and strike at range. So, like, that fight he wants against Phil Haas, it was Phil Haas who took him down, and Roman Dolidze did it. Against Kyle Dawkins, he won. He didn't take him down. It's big punches that won that fight, right? So he's this guy you've seen in 4 fights that he doesn't go for the takedown or his strength. So he always is dependent on his opponent to take him down or go for some sort of like clinch and go to the double in the corner or something like that. I don't think Imavov's that stupid. He fights a smart fight. The fight he lost to Strickland, he was a step behind Strickland. It wasn't because he was bad. They were both going at it like 182 to 130 in strikes and stuff. So it's not like he lost because he was bad. He lost because Strickland was a better fighter. He took down Chris Curtis 3 times. I don't see that's because Chris Curtis is such a good striker. Is he going to feel the same way about Roman Dolidze? I don't feel like Roman has power. I don't, but it's looping power. It's not technical power. I think he outvolumes him. I think it stays on the feet. I don't know about a finish here. Roman's pretty tough when he's not leading the race, right? So I could see in a world if you're getting plus 300 or better on an Imavov decision. I can see that. Imavov doesn't hit with 1,000% power. He can finish Roman too, because Roman gasses or gets hit too much or something like that. But if you're getting the right number, I think Imavov wins here. Hands down, volume, better striking. Hold the takedown. I don't see the takedown coming. I actually don't see the takedown coming. So
Yeah, I don't see the takedown coming. And even though Roman is a beast, Imavov has never been chinned. So I don't think he's going to get knocked out.
And I think he's smarter if he looked at any of the other fights that did not go to those positions with Roman because he's so strong and he's so good at reversing those spots. And then every time he got taken down, he reversed it into something better for him, right? And he did that a lot. So why would Imavov even think about going to the ground? I just don't think it should be in a game plan because if he stands with them, I think they're light years apart on actual striking. Not that he can't get chinned by Dolidze. And I'm not saying that that's not out of the realm of possibilities, but he's the better striker, the better technical striker, better volume striker. And 150 is fair as fuck, right?
And Roman carries so much muscle, so you don't know how that's going to translate in a 5-round fight.
Well, yeah, I mean, most of his finishes come in that second round-ish area, right? So like it's like once he gets to that third round, he's just hanging on against John Allen and all those other guys he was hanging on, right? So once he gets down and he wins that decision against Staropoli, split decision against John Allen, he's holding on, right? So, if you get him later on in fights, the whole power goes down the drain too, right? So I don't see Imavov getting chinned in the first 2 rounds unless he's stupid and just leads with his head, right? So
Dolidze needs to get this to the ground to win the fight is basically what I think we're getting at, and we just don't think he's going to do it.
yeah.
Okay, guys, there you have it. Those are our early predictions. Check back probably Wednesday. Whenever the props come out, we will make a bet episode with our favorite bets. We'll try to find you some spots. Please please subscribe, drop us a comment. Let us know who your favorite picks are, who you disagree with. We love hearing from you. And have a great night, and we'll see you in a few days.
Go Ravens.
No, Lions.
Lions and Ravens. Those are
all right.
Want to go. Like, I can't stand to see Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl, and I can't stand to see the Niners after they beat my Packers last week. So, yeah, Detroit Cinderella story and my brother's favorite team. Shout out to Ashton there. That go Ravens, go.
All right, I like it. Have a good one, buddy.